Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are well. Thank you for tuning in. Excuse me. uh, to Healing in the Veins. This is another session with yours truly, Brian, and this is another live session that is hot off the press. Um, of the last few days, I have been mourning and celebrating and missing a dear friend of mine who recently passed in a car accident. And as I begin to think um, about his life and some of the things that has occurred over the last few weeks, last few months, um, I mean, this isn't personally anything between us, but I begin to think about death and its permanence, right? It's what is permanence on this side of life. Because I do believe in life after death. I believe that life continues. It just transition from one form to the other. That is my personal belief. Um, and one of the things I thought about was how some people hold on to things and don't get that sweet release that they need from each other. We hold on to negative thoughts and negative memories of people, uh, and they attach themselves to us, right? Because um, we keep that memory there. Oh, well, this person treated me wrong, so I'm always see them in this light. But that's not forgiveness. And so that's basically the premise of tonight's message. And I will say this, I usually sometimes find it hard to express myself sometimes, but when I'm really grounded and when I have a hot off the press moment, such as I do right now, the words come freely, words come forcefully. So just know that right now in this space, I am me, but I am removing myself and allowing spirit to take complete control right now because I'm also learning. But in this session, even as I begin to log on, I said, what am I going to call this message? I heard loud as day, get it off your chest. And it simply means that there's a lot of things that people wish and want to say to people that they're trying to find that right time to say it. There is no right time. You say it because time waits for no one. Time continues to move. And just as my friend passed away, we are still going days after his death, right? And his time has stopped on this side of life. His time has stopped. The time stopped the minute he took his last breath. He heard his last sound when he stopped seeing this side of the earth. It stopped. And so now there's a lot of people saying, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I had said this. I wish I had did this. And it's don't beat yourself up for not being able to, right? Um, don't stress yourself thinking the shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Because that only causes you stress. The other person has gone on and not even worried about it. There's this thing about death that there's this all knowing and all acceptance of what was on this earth doesn't even matter. What was the relationship, the love that was shared, the memories that were made together, That's what matters, because those are the things that carry you through even when the person has gone on. All the fights and all the mess ups and the ugliness of a relationship, that develops who you are together. It develops and defines the relationship. Because one thing about a relationship is that once there is a bond there, it doesn't matter what you go through. Because if the bond was strong, if the bond was built on a strong foundation, it doesn't matter if there's a tornado or earthquake, the foundation isn't going anywhere. And yes, I know in the physical, with the real earthquake, the foundation can be shaken, but you get what I'm saying. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to become something other than the relationship, than the bond that you built. And it's important for people to hear and understand that, because a lot of people feel like, oh, well, that's the end. No, you still have a life to live. It is now your opportunity to take the I'm hearing torch. I was going to say baton, but I'm hearing torch. Take that torch. Thank you. The torch of wisdom, that torch of understanding, that torch of knowledge, and continue to share it out to the rest of the world, because that was your lesson. You understand the importance of saying everything that you need to say without trying to find that perfect moment. The last few years, I have lost so many friends and family members that it's just okay, here we go. But I now know how to do it. But I feel comfortable, and I get an easiness, because the things that I wanted to say to people, they know. They knew that I love them. Sometimes you don't even have to say things to people. It is in your actions. In fact, a lot of people often say that love is an action word. It's more than just a word that you say, but it is a word that you express. It is an action. And even if we want to take it to the scripture, it said that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. He gave his son to the world because he loved us. And that is what we have to do. We have to give of ourselves to other people to show them that we love them, not to just say it. It could have been, she could have easily just said, I love you all and I'm your God, right? But to ultimately give of a piece of him that would then go on to be sacrificed. I'm going somewhere with this, I promise you. It only allows you to see and understand how much we in turn should be giving of ourselves to each other. And when the moment comes, we have nothing on our chest left to bear, but embracing everything that we come with the loss of a person. We have nothing to gain but peace. We have nothing to um, to give out but peace and more love to other people. Because there's something in mourning where when people give you their condolences, you have the strength to give it back. You have the strength to of acceptance, right? And in death there is a peace of it all. It goes along with that peace beyond understanding, but death is very peaceful. It's nothing torment. Um, what is it? What's the word that I want to use? It's nothing troublesome. Tormental, is that a word? about death, right? Um, and we don't know what the person who dies wanted to get off their chest, right? So you also don't want to leave this earth without saying things, right? You don't want to be the person that tells the other person, I know that you're still angry with me, but I want you to know that I love you still, that I forgive you, that I release you of whatever you're holding on to. Because at the end of the day, that person can't hear those words, right? And so then should I go to the memorial service? Should I speak on what I know? Because, I know that me and this person wasn't in a good place, but does everybody else know? And you start your mind start playing tricks and games on you, and you psych yourself out, and really what people want to know is, did you did you clear the air between, which is nobody's business, mind you, right? But still, you don't even want the what ifs from other people and the what ifs from yourself. Because if you go ahead and clear the air, if you go ahead and say what you need to say what you need to say what you need to say, just say what you need to say what you need to say, and release yourself. Release the pressures, release the pain, the anger, the hurt, the bitterness. And I know on this platform, I have often said several times, holding on to stuff only leads to sickness. And definitely one thing is cancer, but it is a sickness, and you holding on to stuff and holding on to unforgiveness, and the person has gone on about their life, or even in some cases gone on literally from this earth, and you still angry with them. Why? Get it off your chest. It goes along. I promise y'all, I'm hearing all these songs, and now I'm hearing, bag lady, you holding those bags, because you're carrying all that baggage that you can't do anything with. Because if the person has gone on, if the person is, whether they're gone on with their life or gone on to the other side of life, right? You still angry holding on to that stuff. And you can't do anything with it, because you can't definitely give it to nobody else, because they're not going to understand the situation, the consequence, or the era that you're speaking of. And I say era because there are some people who hold on to things, to bad memories and conversations for years, for decades, in unforgiveness and in unlove and in sadness, anger. And it's also unfair to even attempt to give it to somebody else, right? They didn't deserve all the backlash from what you decided not to process with someone else. We often see that in relationships, right? We talk about that in relationships and loving relationships, right? But we don't talk about that with our everyday person, but that happens too. How many times have you snapped at somebody for something that you went through on the way to work, or on the way to school, or on the way to church even, or wherever you celebrate your religious background, right? How many times have you flicked somebody off, right? On any other day, you wouldn't have, but today, because somebody has got on your last nerve and did X, Y, and Z to you, and now you giving them the bird, right? Now you cursing at people, and people don't understand why they just going on about their day, right? And it's because we tend to carry stuff on our chest without releasing it. That's why I used to tell people all the time whenever I was younger, one of the things that helped me out was I started writing out what I was feeling, no matter what it was. And that became therapeutic for me. It went from just basic words on a page to poetry, to from poetry to musical lyrics. And so yes, I can write all of that. And I can write papers, pages full of papers while listening to music, because for me it is all intertwined. There is no distraction there. That is for me. But however, it awarded me that release that I needed to be able to do something so freely that I didn't have to worry about anything. And people often ask me, well, how could you just forgive somebody so easily? It was because I had let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I'm hearing all of these songs, y'all. But you got to let it go, because if you don't, I'm going to speak. And that's the other thing. I'm going to just start speaking what I'm hearing, because in it, I have learned that I need to listen to spirit more whenever in my everyday life. Like I listen to spirit, right? But there's certain things that I don't catch, right? Um, and having a conversation with just on yesterday with a really good friend of mine, and I talked about it, and he was like, "Yeah, like you got to tell somebody," and you're right, because when you hear something, when you get that pull, you get that tug, that something ain't right, you tell somebody, because it may be for them, it may be for somebody in your social circle. It may, by you releasing that. So in my case, let me and just a small little snippet of it. So in my case, if I had let somebody know earlier that I was getting picking up a death spirit, right? When the death happened, people could console me or prepare me for the death that happened, right? Um, and that's how death works with me, right? I pick up on death a lot. Don't know why, but I do. And that's just me personally. Um, but I need to start listening to the spirit more. And what I heard was, if you don't let it go, your heart will become cold. It'll start to get hard. And when your heart is hardened, just like Pharaoh, you become the extra stubborn. The things that you will let go and let slide by, you start to nitpick now. And people are like, oh, they having a moment, huh? Because you nitpicking about any and every little thing. And most of the time you would have let that go, but now you don't. And what you do is you cause friction among people. And because you cause friction, um, you're now causing other disturbances in other areas with other people. And so now it's a chain reaction because you was holding on to something. And until you clear that air, everybody is going to want to depart from you. Nobody wants to be around you, because now nobody knows what kind of mood you're going to be in the next time that they see you. Now, people have to walk on eggshells around you. And when that happens, you're like, where is everybody? And you have literally built up a wall. Excuse me, you have literally pushed people away. Then you built up a wall. And then you have the armed forces surrounding the wall saying, I dare you to cross me. I dare you to step foot towards me, or you're going to be blown to smithereens. And I'm not talking about that literally. I'm just saying, in as an example, like you're gonna blast somebody out, you're gonna embarrass them, all because you was holding on and not unpacking some things. All because you didn't release when you needed to release. And so when you get things off of your chest, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about unnecessary fights, unnecessary slander, unnecessary conversations, right? That's a life of peace. I try to live with the life of peace. And I always tell people, if you don't tell me that you have a problem with me, baby, I'm gonna act like we don't have a problem because in my book, we don't have a problem at all. And people can get mad with you because they project onto you their thoughts and feelings, and it's not true. It's a feeling is just a feeling. I heard a lady say this earlier today. A feeling is just a feeling. It doesn't make it factual unless you know all the facts, and then you still feel the same way. But unless you know all of the facts, what you feeling could be fiction, fictitious, make believe, a fairy tale, not the truth, right? So you have to understand what the issue is within yourself. What is holding you back from getting your release? What is holding you back from embracing that person? What is holding you back from opening your mouth, writing that letter, dialing that number? What is holding you back? Is it pride? Is it stress or anxiety? Is it bitterness, stubbornness? Only you know that answer. Only you can process that and go through what you need to go through, the healing part that you need to go through. Only you have that answer. I guarantee the other person doesn't have that answer. Because if that person was to walk in the room, you would lock up, you would freeze, you would open your mouth. You might roll your eyes, and that's the only thing that you probably would do. But everything else, that thing that need that lump that's right here that you need to get out of your chest, you will not do it because you lock yourself up in your own mental prison and expect the world to bow at your feet. But that's not how it works. If you lock all the doors in your house and you in sitting in the back room in the back corner underneath your blankets with the keys in your hand, and then you saying, somebody help me, somebody help me, how they gonna get into you, sweetie? You have locked all the doors. You have hidden yourself in the back room where nobody can find you. You are holding on so tightly to the keys that even if the person was inside with you, they couldn't pry those keys out. You have to let it go so that you can receive the help that you need, so that you can receive the love that you need, so you can receive the forgiveness that you need, so you can receive the peace that you need. This needs to be done. It has to be done. And then when it happens, it's all I'm laughing because when I said that, all I heard was, what it, ease on down the road. You just ease on down the road. Because when you ease on down the road, just like they did, right? It was easy. It was smooth sailing. It was, just, now I'm hearing the Smurf song, la, 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 sing the happy song, la, 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 all day long, right? You're happy, you're joyful, you're full of glee, right? There's nothing holding you down. There's nothing stressing you out. There's nothing on your mind. All the mental weights are gone. All the stress that you was holding on, balled up in your chest is gone. Your limbs and that you was your stiffened limbs are now loosened. You're not frozen anymore. You have not hardened your heart. In fact, that brick that was there in place of your heart has now broken, and now it's beating life back into you. Life is about celebration. Life is about joy. Life is about peace. Life is light, right? Because when you're dead, it's silence. You're not moving. You're gone. Your body literally fades away, right? It degenerates slowly. It becomes dust. And the only way dust moves is when the spirit moves it by the wind, right? It's no longer, I'm not going to say it's no longer present. I'm not going to say it's no longer relevant, but it is no longer a factor in life. Think about it. There's this new phenomenon that where people are planting, they're deciding to plant trees inside of their body so that when they die, that they can fertilize the tree. That's as much life as you get after death. Because as your body decomposes, the nutrient factors, everything that has its value in life starts to wither away. And unless you are an owner, why can't I talk? Unless you are an organ donor, that is the only way that a piece of you will continue to live and live and live until the receptor, the person that receives your organ, is called home to the other side of life. And I haven't heard. I'm not to say that it's not um, capable, but I have never heard of a twice recycled organ from anyone. Right? I've never heard of that. I'm sure it's possible, but even in that, eventually the organ has to go. The organ will wither away and die, and its use will not be useful anymore. So don't harden your heart, lighten it. Get those things off your chest. Call that person, text that person, email that person, check on that person that's been ringing in your mind and in your memory bank. And even if they don't respond, that is okay. You know why it's okay? Because when the time comes and they come across that message, they can smile knowing or have that fact knowing that you reached out to them. My brother reached out to me. My sister reached out to me. My best friend reached out to me. My ex love reached out to me. And I do want to say this because I had a conversation with a cousin of mine. Just because an ex counterpart reaches out to someone does not mean that they are trying to get back with them. when you have a true bond and memory with somebody, you can go back to that person and say, remember when we did this? Well, this just happened to me and I thought of you. Thank you for sharing that moment with me. Thank you for opening up your heart to me and showing me that love. Because not everybody who breaks up has a bad breakup. I mean, sometimes it can start off bad, but then you can make amends, right? Because they wanted to get it off their chest. But sometimes people just walk away because our time has come to an end. No love lost. You go your way, I go mine. And it means that we have developed a loving and budding relationship. So no matter what you do in life, no matter where you go in life, we will always think of the moments and the times that we share with each other, and we can smile knowing that when we departed and went our separate ways, we have nothing left that we need to get off our chest because we said it. So anything moving forward is something new. And a lot of people won't say it because of fear and stubbornness, right? If it's somebody that you love, like no matter how you love them in relationship, a friendship, a family member, if you love them, say it. Don't do it another day, right? I heard Madonna's song. She has this song, and there's this one lyric that says, "I think I'll die another day," right? But we don't know when we're gonna die, right? So don't let those words that is in your heart get stuck in your throat and just last there. And when you die, or if the other person dies before you never got a chance to say those words. And now what are you gonna do with those words and those thoughts? You're just gonna let them choke, right? Because remember, they won't hold any value to anybody else but that person. Why? Because there was a bond at some point there. So, in closing, I will just say get it off your chest, no matter what it is. Because even if it's something, and I'll say not necessarily positive, right? Once you get it off your chest, you may find out that it was a misunderstanding. And here you are mad from a misunderstanding. You may even find out that it was a simple mistake. And you're going to be angry for years over a mistake. People are not perfect. I don't care how much perfection someone says they are. I guarantee it's off by 0.01%. I guarantee it. Nothing is 100%. Nothing. There's some people that can be close. But even in that closeness, what scale are you measuring that by? And if you measure it by the scale of man, I guarantee the scale of man is imperfect. Because how God sees people and how man sees people is totally different every time. And I used to pray a prayer like, God, give me your eyes. I want to see what you see when you look at people. Because when you have his or her eyesight, you see things differently. You don't see the mundane things that men do, right? You don't see the foolishness. You see past it. You look right at what's really going on. Oh, baby, you acting up because you've been hurt. Okay. So now, where's this hurt come from? Oh. So something happened in your childhood, and you're 42 years old, and you you still holding on to that, and that happened at you at 5. Okay, sweetie, let that child know that it's okay to move on. Let that hug and love on that child, and let that child know that you no longer want to deal with that situation. because you are now 42 years old. That's 37 years worth of holding on to something that should have been let go a long time ago. But a lot of people don't know about the art of letting go. That might be another topic, so be looking forward to it. And I may bring on a guest speaker for that one. But you have to get things off of your chest. So get it off your chest. Share this video. If there's something that you want to say to somebody, send them this video. That can be your intro. Amen. I can hear my friend Deidre saying that. But anyway, you all be blessed. And I will see you. Well, you will see me at our next session. Have a good night.